One of the most tenacious brass rock soul funk bands of the 1970s was Oakland's Tower of Power, who released 10 studio albums between 1970 and 1981. And from their late 1974, early 1975 release, Urban Renewal, the track Walkin Up Hip Street. So many staccato layers in this, so choppy, just so precise. That brass is, I mean, that bass is really in the pocket. I can't even quite pinpoint it. I love it when they throw in like a far chord, like a sharp or flat, like into these type tracks. Just D minor. Hear that like oozing yet really clean, slick tone of the guitar. Bruce Conte. B. Amazing. This band has not just three brass players; they've got five of them. Well, brass and sax anyway. Yeah, quite the brass laden band. More than any other really of the time period. Lenny Pickett right there, who plays, let's see, he plays tenor saxophone, alto saxophone, soprano, alto flute, clarinet, and bass clarinet is what he's credited with on this album. And this section is highlighting the very tight, snappy drum work of David Bartlett and the organ playing of Chester Thompson. One of the fellows named, the guy who played with Santana in addition to this band, and also released the album Powerhouse on Black Jazz in 1971. Not to be confused with the drummer Chester Thompson, who played with Zappa, Weather Report, and Genesis. Recalling the best of like 60s era soul jazz, like mid 60s, like incorporating that into the more convoluted rhythmic structures of the 1970s. hold that one note and then start to rise up with these other kind of thicker slabs. Getting really heavy there. Boom, like landing. But yeah, E is like low E is such like a bedrocky place to be landing, considering all the other key centers that we've been in so far. All that thickness, it's got all these layers have just like piled on top of one another for Stephen Krupa, who plays baritone saxophone. Mick Gillette and Greg Adams both handle trumpet. Adams also handling flugelhorn and Gillette trombone. Tight, snappy, just funky, full of detail, full of counterpoint, and just soloing, and a band that really knows how to pass it around. Like each is like soloist getting their spot to shine, and just stretch it out and strut their stuff. Yeah, that was Walkin Up Hip Street by Tower of Power from the January 1975 release, Urban Renewal, recorded in 1974, of course. Let's hear another track from the album, a very different one. I Won't Leave, and the title gets scalloped in the player. I Won't Leave Unless You Want Me To. Yeah, more of a quiet, stormy number. Yeah, very kind of soulful, got that like street corner type harmony and just pretty major seventh chords with string arrangements I think are primarily handled on this album by, Greg Adams, conductor of that, Greg Adams, who also plays trumpet and flugelhorn.
Oh, come what may, through sickness and in health, I stay. Because I love and cherish and worship and adore you. Are the only girl I could ever love. angel from above. Do you tell me to?
Definitely a song to add to those kind of date night playlists when you're trying to like romance someone. I made like a whole like MP3 MPU list a couple of years ago of tracks like that. And this one I didn't have on there, but like note to self.
I love and cherish you. I'll cherish you. I'll take care of you. I will place no one before you. I won't leave unless you want me to.
I love the way the brass gets all kind of like trebly and starts to kind of like blare and like take over the sonic space like that. It just kind of from inside, and it just kind of takes it kind of spreads across like the full screen.
I won't go until you tell me to. Because I love and cherish you. I cherish you. I love you. Are my one and only one. Unless you want me to. I'm nuts for you, baby. I'm crazy.
Emilio Castillo is handling the vocals. He also produces the album and plays tenor saxophone.
Please excuse the pun. I won't go until you tell me to. Because I love and cherish you.
I love that key center right there. It's like E flat major 7. I believe.
I'll take care of you. I'll place no one before you.
F sharp major 7.
I'm the only one for me. Unless you want me to.
In case you haven't seen the other videos where I talk about the power of the major 7th chord, it's that it has kind of a bedroomy, slanted eye, pretty quality to it that's great for ballads and love songs, because it takes the octave tonic, like say in G, and then if you go up like the octave, you have G. Well, it takes the upper the octave tonic and it lowers it half a step, so it's flat, F sharp, G, F sharp, and it just has like this pretty slanted, tranquil, kind of like leaning back, sort of relaxed type sound to it, and it's why it's a common feature of ballads from this time period, back when songs tended to be more melodic, harmonic, and just composed and thought out and such.
I ain't gonna leave you. I wouldn't deceive you. Oh, baby. Hey, I'll take care of you.
I see he's putting more grit, more like raw emotion into it now.
I ain't gonna leave you unless you want me to. I ain't gonna leave.
Tower of Power there with I Won't Leave Unless You Want Me To from the 1975 release Urban Renewal, and before that Walkin Up Hip Street. Yes, Tower of Power, a very prolific band with a lot of energy and chops galore, as you heard, as well as the ability to croon and serenade, as we heard in the second track. Yes, Tower of Power, a lot of great talent, and they just don't make them like they used to. Yeah, 70s Oakland. Yeah, see, it's amazing. Like all these different, when you study like the funk bands, like all the different places they come. I've been like writing some bios on funk bands, and like I take note of where they're from, and I think, wow, quite a there must have been some like cultural energy surrounding there to produce such talent. I hadn't really these places that you hadn't really thought of previously, and yeah, music really puts places on the map. Yeah, and connects with people far and wide across the country and around the world. Yeah. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Tower of Power, see the directory of albums by American funk artists, linked in the description below, for red hot tracks and tasty purples from this album, as well as various other Tower of Power albums from the 70s, like Urban Renewal, chock full of red hot tracks, just as its predecessor, Back to Oakland, and the following In the Slot album, and some of their earlier ones too, very, very strong and recommended, worth exploring at your own leisure. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about this track, its layers, nuances, which solos stood out to you, and such. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.